Hello everybody and welcome to the Mega Man X2 1 HP mod. Yeah, this is a challenge from the YouTuber OwlyForest, so shoutouts to him. Yeah, this, as the name implies, is a mod for Mega Man X2 where the player only has a single HP. Meaning that if we touch an enemy or a projectile or whatever, we explode. Yeah, and he made a challenge, and in this challenge all you need to do is beat the game with 1 HP, obviously. There's only one single obligation that you have to do, and that is clearing every stage. So we can't just do the crystal storage glitch, the new glitch that was found for X2. We can't do that. We have to clear every single stage and then beat the game. Yeah, I wanted to say something, but I guess I can say that later. I am using the emulator Snes9x. That's the emulator I chose for this. And I won't comment on this, by the way. This is just for the intro section and because I want to say some things before I actually begin. I have trained this a lot, you know. I was at work a lot, didn't really have time, but after work I sat down and streamed a couple of attempts and also just practiced the boss fights, especially the final boss with Neo Sigma and Sigma Virus, because I deemed them to be impossible with only 1 HP. But after I trained a lot of hours, it worked. Of course, it is still very, very difficult, and I will probably die a lot, and this run will take a while. Not sure how long. I'm estimating between 2 hours and 6 hours, maybe even 10 hours. I have no idea how long this will take. Because, yeah, not only the final boss is difficult, but there's also Violen in the castle stage that, yeah, he either lets you pass or you just have to try and beat him a lot of times. So this will all be a very difficult run, for sure. I hope I can beat it. Yeah, and disclaimer, I am bound to do a lot of mistakes. I will probably die a lot. Yes, I have trained, and in training I didn't really die too much in the 8 stages. I think I only died like 7 times or something, but I feel like now that I'm recording I will die so much more to silly things. So yeah, prepare to see a lot of deaths. And I have a life split at the top right. This is not a speedrun, for sure not. This is just for me to see to see roughly how good I am. And on the bottom right you can see the controller display, the overlay. I am playing with a PlayStation 5 controller and the overlay just shows a PS4 controller. That's because the controller output thing can only show PS4, not PS5. I mean, there is not a difference, but I still wanted to include it, so I did. Yeah, I guess we can start now. A final thing to say, to use the live split, I have to click on live split on my PC, so I can actually click the split. But for that I have to go off the game, and if I go off the game, I can't control X. So in between stages I will have to click off the game on my live split, split the stage, and then go back into the game. But I made sure that the game doesn't pause when it happens, and we will see it when I start the game now. Yeah, okay, I think I talked a lot, so let's just start this. This will be a long run anyway, so I hope you can still enjoy my silly mistakes. Yeah, that's it. Let's go ahead and give this a try. I mean, now I have to press game start on my controller while simultaneously a short millisecond after I pressed start, I have to click off the game on my live split and then press the space bar on my keyboard and then click back onto the game so I have control over X. Let's see how fast I can do this. And go. Wasn't all too fast. I think I pressed the space bar, I don't know, yeah, half a second too late, but that's how it is. Okay, so let me first kill this enemy here so I don't die to this. Okay, now the time is going, so please enjoy. I will try my best not to die too much. If I have anything to say, I will say it, but yeah, don't expect too much commentary at all. Like, this will be 90% just gameplay. But yeah, thanks for being here and enjoy the show. Okay, now, as a funny side note, I guess I could speak about this here. Now the 3X hunters have appeared. And when I first routed my my stages, I actually thought of killing them as well. We don't have to do this, you know it. For the people who never played X2, you can, as you can see, like the 3 X hunters are in 3 different stages here, and then you can actually fight them. And then later on in the castle you can fight them a second time. And if you don't fight them in the stages here, you have to defeat 0 later on. And for me, I didn't really know what to do, and I kind of wanted to kill the 3 X hunters during the stages as well. Not to make it more difficult, but since I wasn't so confident in the final boss, Neo Sigma and Sigma Virus, I felt like 0 would be just in the way and just waste more time. So I wanted to kill the 3 X hunters, but in the end, after some training, I really thought, okay, killing the 3 X hunters would just waste even more time because they are also very difficult. And I guess I don't need to say it, but killing Violen twice in one run? Nah, that's not really something we want. So yeah, I scrapped that idea very quick. So yeah, actually, so far the run is going very well because I in my testing I died 3 times to Flame Stag and 4 times to Wire Sponge and game over, so this is already a pretty good attempt. So let's continue. hello, here I am again, and I am just noticing that in my live split I completely forgot about Crystal Snail. Because I was looking at my splits and I'm like, wait, there is someone missing. Yeah, I just after I killed Morph Moth, I noticed that in my live split Crystal Snail is completely missing. I am not sure if I can edit Crystal Snail in while the timer is running, but I can pause the timer. Do I want to do this now? Not that it messes up everything, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is gonna suck. I don't know how to... if I can edit this in right now, and if I should do this, you know? Let me do it like this. I will pause the game and then pause my live split here. Okay. Now I go into edit splits. Okay, it seems that it is working. Okay, I cannot. Okay, I cannot. Yeah, I cannot create another segment. Okay, so that's gone. Okay, I will unpause the game and unpause my live split again. Okay, so sorry Crystal Snail, but you are out. I completely forgot about him. I guess I just have to look at the timer and then edit Crystal Snail back in when the run is done. Sorry for that. I don't know, I completely missed him for some stupid reason. Anyway, moving on. let me be quick to point in how unnecessarily risky that was. I will never do this again. So, there we have it. The initial 8 are dead after 40 minutes. Of course, this is not a speedrun, so I wasn't rushing anything too much, so I think this is still a pretty good time. Now comes the part that could take either 10 minutes if you're very lucky, or it can take 2 hours, because this is the complete RNG battle. I will really try to not get too angry here, because yeah, this is just really a luck battle, the Violen fight. I will farm 1-ups, because if I die, if I game over to him, I have to repeat the whole stage. So the more 1-ups I have, the more tries I can get into him before really having to do the entire stage again. So I will be playing Flame Stag stage here until I have 9 lives, and then we do the first castle stage, and then yeah, a lot of Violen tries, a lot of Violen tries. Yeah, nothing else I can say, so keep enjoying the show, hopefully.
Very funny, very, very funny. Such a funny guy.
there we have it. Wow, in 10 minutes. In round about 10 minutes. This is like the best it can ever get, to be honest. Very, very lucky. Very, very lucky that this worked so fast. Like, wow. Between Bubble Crab and Violen, yeah, not even 20 minutes. This is very lucky. I got very lucky there. I really wanted this pattern to get some X-Buster shots at the beginning and then him staying up there and then me getting lucky with the maze that it doesn't hit me and I can hit him with the bubbles a lot because that's his weakness. And it worked out. Very lucky. Okay, now for the rest of the game. I don't think I will comment too much again, but I will be back for the final boss gauntlet, so keep enjoying the show. Alright, people, I am already back because I do have something to say about the Grade 8. For this, I normally intended to do 1-up farming again, because if you game over, you have to repeat all 8 Mavericks again, and even though it's not a speedrun, that's a huge time waste. But I have 7 lives, so that's already good. For this, I have always considered going after Bubble Crab first, then Morph Moth, and then Flame Stag. I don't know why Flame Stag, because I have a weird history with him, because there have been times where I beat him effortlessly without taking damage, and then there have been times where he always kills me for some reason, and it's just a weird time with him, so that's why I put these 3 in a hierarchy. Basically, Bubble Crab is the worst, by far, as you've seen in his stage. Then we go after Morph Moth, because the Scrap can easily kill you when he is in his cocon. I don't know how to pronounce the English word. Anyway, and then Flame Stag, because I have a history with him. And the rest should be fine. So let's start with Bubble Crab here. You know, because in a speedrun, slow is bad, of course. I thought this is the perfect opportunity to finally show off something I always loved doing since I was a child when I played this game. And that's killing Overdrive Ostrich in slow motion, you know. I did a low percent speedrun of this, and in general a 100% speedrun as well, and that's of course something you can do there, but this was like the perfect opportunity because this is not really a speedrun, so I had to just include the slow motion death of Ostrich there, and yeah, I'm glad it worked out. So yeah, that's what I always did as a child, and I still love doing it, so I had to show it off. Anyway, this was the grade 8. The final thing left is, yeah, the final roadblock to victory. This could still take a ton of time, because now I have to defeat Zero, Neo Sigma, and Sigma Virus back to back. And if I get hit at any point, I have to redo the entire stage again. And yeah, that could be a lot of time waste in a sense. Yes, this is not a speedrun, but yeah, we will be here for a while potentially. Or maybe we get really lucky like with Violen and it only takes a few tries. I have 5 1-ups, which are not really useful here because I need the weapon ammo for speed burner for Zero. So yeah, I guess I will have to kill myself a few times to restart my 1-ups to 3 lives. But yeah, that's we will see. We just have to get lucky here now, and then let's see if I can pull this off. Let's go. with that, it is done. 2 hours, 1 minute, 48 seconds, give or take. I guess we can say a 2-hour run it was at the end, with all my random talking and when I stopped to explain a few things. I guess this is just below 2 hour in the end. But this is only a rough estimate, the 2 hour, 1 second. Am I happy? Yeah. Technically I am. Though I really have to say that the final boss here, I failed way too often. Like, I practiced these battles back to back so often and killed them pretty quickly even. But of course, when it comes to recording, that's the moment where I suck, where I fail, where I do stupid mistakes. And this run, like the final boss here, I almost had defeated the virus, but then X dashed into the enemy that the virus spawned and I died, but that was not a dash. 100% I did not dash there, so that made me mad. But I'm pretty sure that dash was because I pressed the directional button twice, and that also counts as a dash, and I don't really like that. Because sometimes my fingers get like, they twitch, especially from excitement and nervousness. So of course, sometimes I just press the directional button twice and then he dashes and then I'm dead. And then later on, when I definitely dashed, X did not dash and then I died. So it happened twice. I told him not to dash, but he dashed, and then I told him to dash, but he didn't, and both times I died. But never mind that. I am glad this is done. I am glad I made it. To be honest, normally, like, I thought I would be like extremely happy and screaming and saying, "Finally, I did it! Yeah!" But now, I don't know. I'm glad. I'm glad I did it. Like, a month ago, I was like, this is impossible. And now, 1 month later, here I am, actually beaten Mega Man X2 with only a single HP from start to finish, clearing every stage. This is clearly an achievement. So I don't know why my brain isn't getting it, because I guess it's just too much for me to digest at the moment. So yeah, I am glad this is over. To be honest, the Violen fight was very lucky. Yeah, that was a huge time save, but all the huge time save was gone immediately when I tried to finish the game with the final boss. So, in the end, I can say, overall, I am very happy about the run. I am very happy about Violen, how fast and quick that went. But I am not so happy about the final boss, because, yeah, I failed way too much at Neo Sigma. Because normally, when I trained him, he always did a specific pattern. But in one attempt, he just spammed these 5 electrical balls while he himself was kind of in the middle. That's the worst that can ever happen, because then dodging the 5 electrical balls is very difficult, and then he can also slash and dash at you, and that's like just the worst. So he did that a lot actually. And I was like, why are you doing this now when I'm recording? But when I'm training, you never do this. It's always like that. Whenever you go into a recording, everything goes wrong and things that you never expected happen. But when you train offline, these things never happen. So yeah, I guess everyone who is recording knows what I mean. But hey, we did it. I actually did it. Wow. I finally have beaten Mega Man X2 with only a single HP. That is crazy. Thank you very much to OwlyForest for this challenge idea. I hope you enjoyed this, especially you. I mean, I hope everyone enjoyed this, but especially special thanks to OwlyForest and 2 of my very closest friends that have been watching me training in my stream. A very, very huge thanks to you both as well, and special thanks to OwlyForest for this challenge idea. If you have any other questions, you can let me know. I hope that this was sufficient. I did not have any cheats on. I shouldn't. I hope I didn't, because to be honest, I have no idea about emulators, so I checked that nothing was on, but yeah, this should be fine. Yeah, anyway, I don't really have anything else to say. Let's skip these explosions. Oh wait, it's because I ended the live split. My controller wasn't on the game. Now we can skip through this. Let the tower explode. And then listen to the sweet, sweet victory music. To all of the people that don't know, so basically everyone, I guess, Mega Man X2 is very fond to me. Like, I have played every single Mega Man X game. I guess I can talk about this now that this is over, just so for random information. I grew up with Mega Man X and X2. Later on, when I was like 15 or something, I started playing X3. And then I got into X4. And then I stopped playing the X games for a while. Like, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. Every now and then I picked up one single game, like X2 for example, and then when I finished it, it was over. I finished the games in a single day by now. And then, like 2 years ago, I was like, come on. I know the X series has gotten worse after X4, but I really want to see them myself. So I started playing X5. I was kind of disappointed because, like, I mean, the rumors that I heard were true, because starting from X5 it really went downhill. X5 is still like below average, okay, and then X6. X6 is also special to me in some way. It is a very bad game, but I like pain, and X6 is pure pain, so I still kinda enjoy it. X7 is like the worst of the worst. I played through it 100% one single time, and I will never touch this game ever again. Horrible game. Do not recommend. And then X8. Yeah, I played the PlayStation 2 version, which was okay, I guess. It was special in a way, but I don't think I would ever play X8 again. And then there's the demake of X8. I never played it. I don't really think I will play it. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's like my history with Mega Man X. And X2 is my favorite Mega Man X game. So when I heard that OwlyForest was creating this challenge, I was very happy, because if he said clear Mega Man X3 with 1 HP, I would say no. I would definitely say no, and I would never even try, because I 100% know I would not be able to do it. But X2 is so special to my heart, and I know the stages in and out, and the weapons, and the stage layouts, and the weaknesses, and whatever else I knew. But I still thought clearing this game with only a single HP is still impossible because of the final boss, Neo Sigma and the virus. But that's because, like, whenever I did a challenge, like X-Buster only, Lemons only, no damage, I always, like, played every single boss, but when it comes to the final boss, I played only on the Legacy version, and I die a single time to the virus, I have to repeat the whole stage, kill Zero, kill Neo Sigma again, and then get another chance for the virus, and then he kills me in 3 seconds or something, and then I have to retry it again, play the stage again, defeat Neo Sigma again. And I hated that. So I never bothered even trying to kill the virus in a specific way, like no damage or whatever. But then OwlyForest came up with this challenge idea, and he said you have to play it on emulator. I was like, I would like to give this a try, but emulator, I don't know, because emulators are so like foreign to me. I never bothered with emulators. I have no idea about them, basically. But then my good friend helped me to patch this game and everything, and then I tried the emulator, and then I saw you can do save states and everything, and then I played through the game and put a save state to the virus, and then whenever he killed me, I could just load the save state and I could try again. And that was so nice. That was actually very nice. And then I trained the boss back and forth, and he killed me a dozen of times. I got mad. I admit I got mad. But I trained. I did not give up. And yeah, in the end, I just tried Neo Sigma and the virus back to back all the time for hours until I got really warm into the battle. And then, then I was like, okay, you know what? This is doable. Like, first of all, I trained Neo Sigma back to back until I defeat him. Then I only tried the virus to defeat him back to back. And then I was like, when I got them, I was like, okay, now I have to beat Zero, Neo Sigma, and the virus back to back because I want to complete the challenge. And then I tried to do that, which was a bit harder, of course, because everything has to line up. And then randomly in my third stream, I got it. I got it a single time to defeat Zero, Neo Sigma, and virus back to back. And then I was like, okay, now this run is doable. Now I feel confident I can do this, you know? And then I trained a bit more before starting this attempt. And then, yeah, in my training I was better. I defeated them back to back, much easier actually, but of course now that it comes to recording, I failed a bunch of times. I mean, look at the live split. The grade 8 was defeated after an hour and 20 minutes, and the run was over 2 hours, 1 minute later. So I wasted 40 minutes for the final boss. I mean, it is okay because you have to repeat the stage every single time. Like, I had to defeat Zero like a lot here. And I died too many times to Neo Sigma. I think Neo Sigma was like the main final boss. The virus, of course, was also very dangerous, and he killed me too a bunch of times, but I think I died way more to Neo Sigma than to the virus. So that's something I never thought. Like, I always saw the virus as the very big boss that I could never defeat, but you can keep him in a loop so good. And that only works when he doesn't spawn the fish, because when he spawns the fish enemies, then you have to get rid of them immediately and try not to land on them, because they move so disgustingly that you sometimes just can't even avoid them. And even if you pause the game and try to switch to another weapon to take them out, all the other weapons are just useless. They don't really hit the fish below you. There's no weapon that just immediately goes below you, other than the spin wheel, but that takes time, and until that time is over, you're dead. So yeah, I guess that's it. I kind of want to talk more, but I should just quit this because this has been going on for a while. I need to rest. Thank you very, very much again for watching. Special thanks again to OwlyForest for his challenge idea. Very, very cool. He definitely helped me to see a side of myself I never thought I would see, because if he didn't come up with this challenge, I would think this is impossible still. But because he created this challenge and said that you have to use the emulator, I got into training mode and I got better at the game. I got so much better in a few weeks thanks to OwlyForest in this game, in my favorite X game. So thank you again very much, OwlyForest, for this, and thank you very much to my two friends that have been watching me trying this on stream, failing and getting mad. But yeah, I guess that's it for here. Yeah, until next time, I guess. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.